Hey adrenaline junkies, welcome to Police Pursuit. Today we launch a new, fresh series, When People Messed with the Wrong Cops. Every reckless choice flips on instant justice support. Buckle up. Let's roll right now, folks. On June 20th, 2023, Trooper Grant was notified that the 10th Judicial Drug Task Force, DTF, was in pursuit of a silver Chevrolet Impala, Arkansas 373YCU and requested assistance. At approximately 4:09 p.m., the pursuit began on U.S. Highway 63. The vehicle was traveling northbound at high speed and driving recklessly. A backseat passenger threw a black bag containing multiple stolen firearms, signaling right away that this was far more serious than a simple traffic stop, a highly dangerous situation.
31 words that will stop again.
Traffic more than dollars.
At 4:11 p.m., Trooper Grant executed the first TVY to stop the car, but the Impala regained control. Just a minute later, a second TVI sent the vehicle into a ditch and into the tree line. All suspects bailed and fled into the woods. This highlights how critical, timely, and precise TVI decisions are. Without it, the chase could have continued, putting everyone at risk.
Not directly in the area, they have been notified. It looks like they were 2-3.
From the TVI footage, notice closely. One suspect was thrown from the vehicle, giving troopers a chance to quickly subdue them.
Rolled out, they're running.
Trooper Grant captured Quentine Lowe after a short-foot chase, then pursued the remaining two suspects. Exiting the woods into a field, the two attempted to hide in a red barn. Trooper apprehended Dash and Cobb near a fence, maintained a secure perimeter, and with Trooper Moore entered the barn to arrest Dante Lowe. The coordinated effort ensured no one escaped and no injuries occurred.
I'm gonna release my dog! My dog's gonna bite you!
Ultimately, all suspects were returned to the original location, checked by EMS, and transported to Monticello Police Department. The vehicle was towed. The driver, Ladarian Pugh, was apprehended by Pine Bluff Police and charged with fleeing, minor in possession of a handgun, possession of a machine gun, and receiving stolen property. Looking at the full sequence, it's clear that decisive action, precise TVI maneuvers, and coordinated teamwork prevented a potentially catastrophic outcome. The two consecutive TVs that brought the stolen, weapon-carrying Impala to a stop highlight decisive action, precise timing, and tight coordination by the troopers in an extremely dangerous situation. From the high-speed pursuit to the arrest in the woods and the barn, every step of the operation was clearly controlled. But once the suspects had already thrown firearms out of the vehicle, was continuing to flee ever really a smart choice?
Please. Okay? I want you to have options here. we're trying to give you as many options as possible.
At approximately 9:30 p.m. on March 11th, 2026, Rochester police officers responded to an apartment on Ashland Drive Northwest for a domestic-related call. Inside, they encountered 47-year-old Cleveland White, along with an adult female and several children. From the initial contact, officers and a social worker observed that White was acting erratically, speaking irrationally, and appeared paranoid, leading them to believe he could pose a danger to himself and others.
Don't go, we're going to make you.
I don't have a
And we
reason.
cannot guarantee your safety, okay? Come on.
I don't have a reason.
We're giving you so many opportunities. Please
I don't have a
we're
reason.
literally begging you to please walk out.
I'm begging y'all.
When informed he would be placed on a 72-hour mental health hold and transported to a hospital, White refused to comply. As officers attempted to take him into custody, he resisted aggressively, turning the situation into a tense physical struggle inside the apartment. In the middle of the chaos, White suddenly grabbed an officer's firearm and pulled the trigger, causing it to discharge, prompting an immediate warning from the officer.
Get away! Get away! Oh, God! What the fuck up on me, man? What the fuck is wrong with y'all, man?
2214 fighting with one.
Officer Dewitt then fired multiple rounds, striking White and ending the threat. Officers quickly rendered aid before he was transported to a hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. In just minutes, a routine domestic call escalated into a fatal encounter once a firearm was introduced into the struggle.
My gun!
Let's see his hands. Get his hands. Get your hands up. Hold on his back. Where's the gun? It's still in my holster.
On August 20th, 2024, Florida law enforcement was alerted by the Alabama Highway Patrol about a yellow Chevrolet Malibu fleeing eastbound on Interstate 10. After Alabama units were forced to terminate the pursuit near the state line, the vehicle continued at high speed into Florida, weaving aggressively through traffic until a Florida unit picked it up. The moment emergency lights and sirens were activated, the driver pushed even harder, accelerating past 120 miles per hour in a 70 miles per hour zone. The Malibu tore through traffic, cutting lanes without hesitation and even blasting through a construction zone, nearly striking a patrol vehicle parked on the shoulder.
Yeah, get it up.
As the vehicle maintained speeds around 115 miles per hour near mile marker 11, officers made their move. A well-timed pit maneuver struck the rear of the car, instantly sending it out of control. The Malibu spun across multiple lanes, skidded violently, and slammed into the guardrail, coming to a stop severely damaged. From the rear camera angle of the police vehicle, the moment the suspect's car suddenly fishtails, loses control, and spins sideways is captured clearly. Going from accelerating to flee to sliding uncontrollably, tires spinning and leaving a chaotic trail behind. It only takes a small mistake at high speed to end it all, raising the question, if the suspect hadn't chosen to run in the first place, would it have ended in a loss of control like this?
We're just west of 110.
Officers rushed in and took the driver into custody at the scene. The suspect was identified as Angelina Marie Stillwell, who did not possess a valid driver's license and now faces multiple serious charges, including felony fleeing. Despite the violent crash, no injuries were reported, bringing an extremely dangerous high-speed pursuit to a close. The pit that stopped the Chevrolet Malibu after it blasted past 120 miles per hour, even through a construction zone, shows the troopers' near-flawless timing and judgment. From aggressive weaving to complete loss of control and slamming into the guardrail, everything ended in seconds. Turns out going faster doesn't mean getting farther. But it does make you wonder, if the suspect hadn't chosen to run in the first place, would it have needed to end in such a memorable spin? At approximately 11:11 a.m. on November 7, 2025, a St. Louis County deputy patrolling near Colonel Glenn Road and Interstate 430 observed a blue Dodge Charger with Texas license plate VDW1500, which had previously fled from Alexander Police. NCIC checks showed the vehicle registration expired, prompting the deputy to initiate a stop. The driver, Malik Moore, 30, refused and accelerated into the Sonic restaurant parking lot at 11,700 Colonel Glenn Road, then back onto westbound Colonel Glenn Road, starting the pursuit.
Our final stop is going to be the Sonic on Craziest.
10-4-13.
Moore turned onto Bowman Road and lost control of the vehicle. To prevent a prolonged and dangerous chase, the deputy executed the first TVY, causing the car to spin counterclockwise with tires smoking. Moore continued to accelerate, forcing the deputy to perform a second TVI, striking the driver's side door to fully end the escape.
63, 532, 237.
TBI.
Shortly after, Trooper Chase Landry arrived and pinned the suspect's vehicle, officially ending the chase. Moore was pulled from the car and taken into custody while officers documented the scene.
Man, shut the fuck up!
Hey, I don't work for Alexander PD, do I, bitch?
Investigation later revealed the vehicle was uninsured, the rear tire was damaged, Moore was not wearing a seatbelt, and his license was suspended. After being read his Miranda rights, Moore admitted he fled because the license plate was expired and confirmed the same reason for his prior escape from Alexander Police.
Sticker on the side says State Police, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I see your car's on the group. The blue sticker on the
Moore
side
was
of it.
taken to a hospital for evaluation, then transferred to the Pulaski County Detention Center, facing multiple charges including fleeing police, driving with a suspended license, and other traffic violations.
Good shit, bro.
Fresno, California. In the early morning hours of November 4th, 2023, Fresno police responded to a residence on North Dante Avenue after a woman reported her husband, 33-year-old Maximiliano Sosa, was suicidal following a heated family dispute. When officers arrived, Sosa had already left, but moments later he returned, driving recklessly and nearly striking an officer before fleeing again. Officers remained on scene, speaking with the woman as Sosa continued calling, making threats to take his own life and harm responding officers.
Why can't we talk it out? Do it for your daughter. Do it for your daughter. Stop, dude.
Jackass. At least do your research.
Okay.
My daughter, I don't have a...
Just after 4:35 a.m., he came back a second time, this time armed with a pair of kitchen shears.
I get that.
Inside the apartment, Sosa ignored repeated commands and dared officers to shoot.
She has to come out with me, though. Okay.
I'm not gonna hurt her.
Let her go.
I'm about her.
Okay.
After a taser failed to subdue him, Sosa charged. 3 officers fired their weapons.
That's the thing.
Despite immediate life-saving efforts, he was pronounced dead at the scene. A tragic end to a volatile and deeply emotional standoff.
Wait. Stop, dude.
From an initial crisis call, the situation quickly escalated into a deadly confrontation. The suspect ignored commands, kept a weapon, and advanced even after being tased, appearing to charge at officers while resisting and trying to flee, forcing a split-second response to stop the threat. At approximately 10:03 p.m. on June 7, 2024, North Little Rock Police, along with Arkansas State Police, pursued a fleeing vehicle through multiple roadways in Pulaski County. From the start, the suspect drove aggressively, accelerating through red lights and blasting through intersections without slowing. forcing other motorists to brake hard or swerve to avoid collisions. The red SUV weaved aggressively through traffic, making sudden lane changes and squeezing through tight gaps between vehicles. At times, it straddled lanes while pushing past traffic at high speed, coming dangerously close to multiple civilian vehicles. Meanwhile, pursuing units maintained formation, steadily closing the gap and restricting the suspect's room to maneuver.
Turning south on the Broadway Bridge, turning 55 over TVI into that wall.
The pursuit continued onto a bridge and toward a highway ramp, where space became limited while speeds remained high, increasing the risk. Seizing the moment, an Arkansas state trooper moved in from behind and executed a decisive pit maneuver, making contact and causing the SUV to lose control, veer offline, and come to a stop in the roadway, effectively ending the chase. From another angle captured by a trooper's dashcam, the situation becomes even clearer as the suspect continues to accelerate despite being closely pursued. From behind, each approach is calculated before a decisive pit maneuver is executed. Officers quickly moved in, sealed off the scene, and took the suspect into custody. After all the reckless weaving, red light violations, and desperate attempts to escape, it only took a single, precise pit maneuver to shut everything down in an instant. On November the 5th, 2024, authorities received a report of a stolen vehicle fleeing southbound on Richview Road near Appalachie Parkway. While traveling along Appalachie Parkway, an officer spotted a blue Mitsubishi bearing Florida plate LMIJ13 turning onto the roadway at high speed, matching the description of the stolen vehicle. Emergency lights and siren were immediately activated. Instead of stopping, the driver accelerated, attempting to evade while pushing through traffic at high speed. At the intersection of Paul Russell Road and Appalachie Parkway, the officer made the move. A precise pit maneuver forced the suspect vehicle sideways, pinning it directly into a pedestrian guardrail along the north sidewalk, leaving it immobilized.
Better stop. Show me your head. Show me your head. Get out the car. Get out the car.
Trapped inside, the suspect attempted to open the door and flee, but was unable to escape. Officers quickly converged. As the suspect shifted toward the driver's side window, one officer grabbed his right wrist while another secured his left, together pulling him out of the vehicle and taking him to the ground before securing him in double-locked handcuffs.
Get out! Get out! Now! Get out! You're gonna get beaten! Get out! Give me your fucking hand! Give me your fucking hand!
suspect was identified as Antoine Jones and taken into custody on charges of grand theft auto and fleeing law enforcement. He was transported for medical evaluation before being booked into the Leon County Jail, bringing a fast-moving and dangerous pursuit to a controlled end.
What's your name?
It doesn't matter.
How old are you?
It doesn't matter.
Well, you appear intoxicated.
On July 4th, 2024, officers with the New Smyrna Beach Police Department encountered a 20-year-old individual during what initially appeared to be a routine interaction. However, the situation quickly shifted as the subject became uncooperative, failing to follow instructions and repeatedly delaying compliance.
Am I fucking doing something wrong?
Yes, you are. Calm down.
What am I doing? Read it to me.
Well, now you're resisting.
Resisting what?
While no violence was involved, the resistance was enough to escalate the situation beyond a simple encounter. Officers had to move from verbal commands to physically taking control in order to maintain the scene and prevent further escalation. The incident was resolved without any reported injuries.
Okay,
You're still drinking underage.
I am?
So that's still a problem that we're coming across.
Okay, well that's my name and there it is for you.
Okay.
Makayla.
Do you have shoes or no?
Somewhere in the car.
The individual was ultimately taken into custody and charged with resisting without violence. What could have remained a minor interaction turned into a more complicated situation, simply due to a refusal to cooperate, a pattern often seen in similar cases.
Listen, if you keep banging on the car, your handcuffs are going to go back behind your back. You're laughing because I'll switch them right now.
Okay, and then I'm going to go to the same place I was
Okay,
before.
yeah, you will.
Baby, bail me out! We'll see you guys soon on Daytona, baby! I'm sorry, I forgive you. I love you guys! I'm sorry. Hey, David, buddy! Does it feel bad that this is wasting time? I love you guys! We know.
It's okay.
In the early morning hours of July 20th, 2024, while patrolling near Highway 42 in Rex, Georgia, in connection with an armed robbery, Deputy Ferguson observed a white 2023 BMW 530E parked in front of a Texaco, blocking the entrance. The driver provided a name but could not produce a valid driver's license, and the information given did not return in the system. When asked to step out of the vehicle, the suspect suddenly fled, initiating a pursuit. The chase quickly escalated onto I-675 North, with speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour and reaching approximately 130 miles per hour. The BMW was driven aggressively, making sudden lane changes, entering oncoming lanes, running red lights, and forcing other drivers to take evasive action before exiting toward Stagecoach Road. Upon entering Henry County, deputies implemented a termination maneuver, forcing the vehicle to a stop. The suspect then fled on foot into a wooded area, where Deputy Ferguson pursued and deployed a taser, successfully taking him into custody after a brief chase. The suspect was identified as Brian James Blair, DOB July 7, 1988, who was wanted for a probation violation and had a suspended driver's license.
Stand by. Off the road, 41, 41.
41, go ahead.
A search of the vehicle revealed 3 loaded firearms, along with multiple narcotics, including marijuana, methamphetamine, psilocybin mushrooms, and alprazolam, as well as several forms of identification belonging to other individuals. After being read his Miranda rights, Blair admitted he fled because he knew he did not have a valid license and was in violation of probation. He was transported to the Clayton County Jail and the vehicle was seized for further investigation.
I can get up the balls, man.
Hey, just keep coming back.
Fuck, man, sorry, dude.
See my light? Look.
Shut up!
See my light?
I just want you to know that, man. That ain't me, man.
It's gonna be on Southampton Road. Can't read the tags. It's gonna be a.
While patrolling the area of Southampton Road and West Fayetteville Road, officers observed a vehicle with heavily tinted windows and a suspicious license plate. When they attempted to initiate a traffic stop, the driver fled, speeding through the Park Place apartments and repeatedly re-entering Godby Road, at times driving against traffic and running red lights.
We're gonna be making a right onto Godby. All right, just made it right back onto Southampton, going back towards.
The pursuit continued as the vehicle turned onto West Fayetteville Road, reaching speeds of 102 miles per hour in a 45 miles per hour zone. The driver maintained reckless behavior on wet roads, losing traction multiple times before ultimately losing control completely and crashing into a wooded area off the roadway.
Hey, come around me, take over. Come around me, take over. Speed's gonna be 100, traffic is light. It's gonna be going.
After the crash, the suspect fled on foot into the wooded area but was quickly pursued. Officers deployed a taser and successfully took the suspect into custody after a short chase.
He's behind me, 41, hold traffic.
The driver was identified as Collins, who has had a suspended driver's license since 2021 and is wanted out of Fulton County for murder by vehicle. A search of the vehicle revealed a fraudulent VIN, and it was confirmed to be stolen out of DeKalb County. Inside, officers found approximately 1.4 pounds of marijuana, along with a scale and packaging materials hidden under the driver's seat. The suspect was transported to Clayton County Jail, evidence was secured for processing, and the vehicle was towed from the scene. At approximately 10:06 p.m. on February 28, 2023, Troop D Communications received notification from the Henry County Police Department about a stolen vehicle pursuit traveling northbound on I-75 near mile marker 221. As the vehicle approached mile marker 228, a blue Hyundai Tucson sped into the area at high speed, prompting troopers to merge into traffic and join the pursuit. During the chase, the driver, identified as Dameen McCauley, born 2005, continuously accelerated, weaved between lanes without signaling, and repeatedly braked aggressively while attempting to force patrol units into collisions. The pursuit continued into Fulton County with extremely reckless driving behavior, posing a serious danger to the public.
Clear on P37 from Old Town.
Driver really reckless.
Driver.
Due to the escalating threat, officers executed a pit maneuver to end the pursuit. The impact caused the vehicle to rotate counterclockwise, collide with the concrete median, and come to a stop on the right shoulder of I-75. Officers immediately conducted a felony stop, drawing their weapons and issuing loud commands for the driver to surrender. Despite commands, the suspect attempted to accelerate and flee again as officers approached the driver's side door. After a tense struggle, Macaulay was subdued, handcuffed, and placed into a patrol vehicle without further incident. All charges were turned over to the Henry County Police Department, and the Hyundai Tucson was recovered and towed, bringing the pursuit to an end.